So now Andrea's been following this diet. I didn't know this was a big thing in
diet.
Hollywood too. It's a Hollywood rage.
Apparently it is, yes.
The Hollywood diet and the rage is the macro.
Yes,
the macro diet.
Celebrities who have been, reported to have been following this include Demi Moore, Madonna, Tom Cruise, John Travolta.
Heard of them.
Big names. So we're going to explore it a little bit right now.
A registered dietitian and nutritionist, Gillean Barkyoumb, is here. Did I get it?
You got it.
With the skinny on the macro diet.
Yeah, so the macro diet, I know you've been dabbling with it a little bit, but what it is really, instead of focusing on calories, which a lot of diets do, it's focusing on where those calories are coming from.
Okay.
And that's from our macronutrients. There's 3 macronutrients in our diets. We have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So I brought a few examples here.
Okay.
So can you guess what this one is?
This would be your carbohydrates,
right?
But these are complex carbohydrates. These
Yes,
are good
yes,
carbohydrates.
these are good carbs. Of course, there's some simple carbs, things like cookies, soda, things like that are going to be carbohydrates as well. I only brought the good ones, you know?
Yes.
That's to bring. So we have the carbohydrates here, fruits, vegetables, breads, and pastas. Then we also have proteins. So these are going to be meats. We have some turkey, some chicken here, right? All those proteins are really important. Even some salami, right?
Yeah.
And then also our fats. So fats are an important part of our diet too. We have olives, nuts, avocados. All of those are sources of fats. So with the macronutrient diet, you're looking at how many grams from each of these different macronutrients you're getting. So how many grams of carbohydrates, how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat. Okay, so
and then once you would figure out, either working with a nutritionist or a dietitian of someone, what your goals would be, and then they would base your goals off of how your numbers would stack up, right?
And now you can also do it online. There's tons of online calculators, so you can go online and actually put in your height, your weight, your activity level, and what your goals are, right? If you want to gain weight, maybe you're trying to gain muscle, or someone that's trying to lose weight.
Or energy levels, or any of that, right?
So based on your structure, your weight, your height, and all that, and your age, and you could adjust these nutrients to either gain or lose weight.
Exactly.
And have more, but the idea of the thing is no matter what you're doing, whether you just want to stay the same, gain or lose weight, your energy level and your health is going to be improved because you're following this, right?
Exactly. And there's a couple, like one of the things that makes it flexible, right? We've been saying you can eat whatever you want. I don't know if I'd go that far.
I think that's the biggest myth.
Yes,
I'm glad you brought that up because people that I've seen, if you look anything up that you see this, if it fits your macros.
Yes.
Okay, so if you go and eat a donut, do you want to blow all of that all day long, and then you're going to have to eat very little
The thing is that you do account for it, which is that's one thing that I do like about it. So if you, sometimes you want to have a donut, right? Sometimes you want the brownie. So if you have that, you have a way of really taking that into account and eating healthier throughout the rest of the day because you already hit probably a lot of those carbohydrates and sugar loads, right?
Okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run through the pros.
Okay.
So the pros, you don't eliminate an entire food group, right?
Right, and I think that's important. You think about low carb, low fat. A lot of those times you're trying to cut out a total food group, and we don't want to do that because also those are important nutrients.
And you be flexible, number 2.
Yes, I mean, that's important, right? We want to have an ability to have that birthday cake piece or, have that donut in the morning if we want. So flexibility is important.
If you've got some issues with guilt and food and things like that, I think this helps you work through that.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so we only have 2 pros. But they're good pros.
Yeah, they're good pros.
Okay, but we have cons.
I kept it short. A couple cons. So the first one is that you are taking time to track that intake, and that can be very time consuming. I don't know if you've done it where you're actually tracking on one of those apps like MyFitnessPal, but when you're doing that, sometimes it can take a little bit of time, or if you forget to do one.
Right.
So that can be kind of a challenge for a lot of people.
Okay.
But you said the websites and these apps help you to do it quickly.
Well, and once you kind of get a handle of it, you know which foods you normally eat, and it's a little bit easier.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Per se wouldn't have to log forever.
Right.
You say no focus on micronutrients or fiber.
Right. So it's important to look at vitamins and minerals, the content of the food, right? So if we're talking about eating that donut, it obviously has not as many vitamins and minerals if you're eating something healthier, right? So just taking that into account, I think that's an important thing to consider.
You still need to be pretty well rounded.
They did, or you did, set out an example meal for us. This is for a 150-pound woman who weighs 5'6", moderate activity, and she wants to lose weight, right?
Yes.
So you put her numbers at where?
Okay, so she has about 200 grams of carbohydrates, 125 grams of protein, and 50 grams of fat. And again, this is from one of those online calculators. So I'll do it, and a lot of times as a dietitian, I can go in and kind of play with it a little bit more just with my expertise.
Right.
So if you can be with a dietitian, that's great. But you can see here just based on that composition, what she could eat to get that macronutrient composition throughout the day.
Oh, yeah. So you have your breakfast, lunch?
Yeah. Some Greek yogurt,
dinner.
some a ham sandwich, some baked chicken. So all that's pretty doable and pretty basic, right, for most healthy diets. So this is actually the key. There's no secret, right? You still have to eat healthy.
Well,
I mean, look at that's a healthy diet plan.
Exactly.
So,
And what you brought here is all healthy things that we've known forever we should be eating.
So here's the thing, when Andrea started this, she found out that she was actually, with the macro diet, eating more. Because you always tell me, I had to eat more yesterday.
To hit your numbers. But,
but she was losing fat.
But I know that I've played around with my diet recently only because I was lacking energy so much.
Right.
And I was eating way too much fat. And hardly any carbs, and I've had to shift my brain a little bit to increase my carbs a little to feel better.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. And we were talking about that, because carbohydrates are a really important source of fuel.
But people think, I can't eat carbs, I'm going to get fat.
But don't forget, you're working out with the Cardinals every day, too, with CrossFit.
Yes, you definitely have to be getting that exercise in there, too, so very important.
Ruth,
this is really interesting.
Ruth, when we get home, we're on the macro diet.
Oh, gosh, poor Ruth.
No Nutella, no more Nutella, sorry.
No, I didn't see Nutella on there at all.
Or 1 tablespoon.
Yeah, you're just going to have to account for it.
How can we find you if we want to
Well, she's standing right here for
Well,
God's
I
sake.
mean, if somebody wants to contact her,
I have a skinnyonnutrition.com, so that's my blog, and I'm actually coming out with a new one called Millennial Nutrition, really focusing on that millennial generation. So that'll be coming out soon, but Skinny on Nutrition is the best way to reach me right now.
Skinny on Nutrition, okay. And the millennial thing is such a good idea for kids, you know, that are, we do have somewhat of a obesity problem in our country.
Yeah, that is
and I'm the poster boy for that. Thank you.
You're so hard on
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gillian.
Beth is up next, tip of the day.